Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome to another one of our horror reviews. This time we did Tarot, however you want to say it.
It's tarot for those that don't know. It's tarot.
Tarot, yes. But anyways, we did tarot, and it was B plus, B minus.
Yeah, it's like a B minus like C movie. It was good.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where you're not gonna really remember it, but like it's not gonna be the most memorable movie of the year. But
It was better than the first.
first fashion movies. Yeah. Except for me, Founders Day, which was alright.
Yeah, I like Founders Day.
Yeah, I did too. But this one was okay. I mean, it could have been more accurate, like the way, like, because I'm interested in kind of believe in like supernatural things, and I wish they would like, I don't know, done like represented those things a little bit better, like with the tarot cards and zodiac signs. But they didn't do a horrible job. I think it could have just been more authentic, and they could have incorporated it differently. But it was still pretty interesting, and I kind of like the fact that it utilized those types of things in a way for a horror movie. I still liked it. It's still a fun movie. It's this group of friends that are going on vacation to this cabin in the woods, very typical for horror movies. And they stumble upon this deck of tarot cards, and you're not really supposed to use someone else's tarot deck, but they find one. This one girl practices with it, and she knows how to use tarot cards and read them. And she's like, oh, there's this new deck. I guess we could do this, but she doesn't remember the rule if not using someone else's deck. Let alone they do not know this deck is cursed. And after she gives the readings to her friends, dark versions of their fortunes come to reality, and one by one, the friends come to fate with their monsters that are their final cards, their outlook. And their outlook cards, and basically one by one they end up getting haunted and killed by these monsters or entities that are in the deck, which was kind of cool.
Monsters were kind of cool.
There
had
was
13 Ghost vibe.
Yeah, it did. It was kind of fun, and it was a little like Serious Stories Still in the Dark too, even though I didn't like that movie either.
Yes.
But it was like a couple different movies, like a few different movies I've seen before.
Yes.
But like there was like the High Priestess, the Hanged Man, the Fool, the Hermit, the Magician. Yeah, I mean there's a pretty good
Death, the Devil.
Yeah, Death and the Devil too. You're right. So there are some good monsters in this movie, or creatures.
Yeah, I wish we would have got more of those monsters on screen time, and it wasn't so dark.
Yeah,
when they attack.
I know they were trying to do super sense, but I wish I could see them more.
It was so dark.
Except for the Magician. Magician got a decent
Magician got a little, yeah.
He could have gotten a little bit more like visual help from like the lighting, but I think they wanted to make them kind of ominous in appearance. So you didn't know what they looked like entirely. Sort of like that movie Cobweb, where like this spider, if you're familiar with that movie, like isn't really revealed to us entirely either. But this movie, some of my biggest problems were the cast was average.
Okay.
Not the best cast, but I mean some of them are okay, just not the best. And I also feel like this movie relied so much on jump scares and not the most authentic versions of how tarot and astrology work. From my I don't think I'm like the most knowledgeable about it, but I do know a little bit about it because I'm interested.
And it's a pretty unknown cast except for Jacob Batalon.
Yeah.
From Spider-Man. He's the only one. He's probably the most famous person in this cast.
He is. And then there's Avantika. I can't remember her last name. She's from Mean Girls. So she's playing Karen in the remake. I mean, I did like the fact that the card, they did mention like the death card is not just death necessarily, even though in this case they did say it could mean death too, but that also just is like it is. Transformations or new beginnings and sometimes endings, but it's not just death. I think a lot of people have misconception too, but yeah, that was cool how they did that, and it was an interesting movie. It was fun. I mean, this is one where I can feel kind of like you can see this theaters or not. The other really good thing about this movie, other than the monster designs, I think was like we talked about the backstory.
The backstory, yes.
There's like a backstory.
Yeah.
And it's this countess who, back in the late 1700s, she was a practicing tarot reader, and they didn't talk about what else she really did, but some sort of spiritual woman who dabbled in that or did that for a living. And she was doing a tarot reading for this one man and his family, and it kept on unfortunately getting a reading because the wife was pregnant, about the wife and the daughter or the child basically getting like they're dying. They're gonna die.
Childbirth.
And he hated that ring, so he said, give me another one. She kept on doing rings, and they kept on trying it the same way, and finally they did die, and he blamed her for witchcraft because he was so angry, and he got revenge and said that she was and blamed her for witchcraft, accused her of witchcraft, and
They
then had the
killed her
village
daughter.
go down after her daughter, killed her for an eye type thing, and she was so hurt and angry that she decided to curse the cards by killing herself and letting the blood touch the cards. So whoever used those cards now would always have the monster that's her final card in the reading will be the one to come in after you and kill you and collect your soul, basically.
Yes, this has a backstory, kind of like, I'm gonna get shit for this, but that's why I like Truth or Terror, because of the demon backstory. This had like a witch backstory, but the backstory in these movies is good, and this what makes a movie like this not so bad, not so good,
Yeah.
but it makes it okay.
It was alright, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like my favorite movie of the year, it's not my least favorite movie of the year
No.
either. It was entertaining, it was interesting. I mean, it could have been, there was a lot of things about that would
But if it didn't have the
Altered, but,
backstory,
yeah.
I would not have probably even
No.
liked this movie.
No.
At all. Even with the monsters.
I would have liked the monster separately, but yeah, I agree. If they didn't have a good backstory, the story itself would have been kind of, I could do that.
Yeah.
Because the acting was kind of average. The way they portray tarot and astrology wasn't the most accurate. They did do some mild justice to how they describe some of the cards, but still they didn't do enough justice with how it actually works. I'm not saying everyone has to believe in tarot or what. I don't know. But I did like the fact that they did utilize it. I think it's a fun movie. This is one where, like I said, you could watch this at home or in theaters. I don't have a strong bias on what you should do. It's based on whatever our the
Save for streaming.
safer streaming, but you could watch in theaters. It depends on what you think of this review. I will say
Yeah.
there was, for a PG-13 movie, this did pretty good with some of the kills too.
Yeah.
Avantika, her character's death scene was probably the best in the movie. Alongside another one which was more emotional impact, but just like the scariest death, I think, is this one where she is hunted by the magician, and she gets like dragged out, and then all these blankets gets dragged onto a stage. All of a sudden, magically appears in front of the stage because these spirits have like the beings have magical abilities, and I guess his allows him to bring him to a stage, and he puts on a live show, and he puts her, and she ends up crawling to a box, and he brings the box out on stage, and he has a saw, and like he begins to like try to like impale her, try to taunt her and whatever, and the audience is just cheering. It's like these dead people, and spoilers, but we always do spoilers anyhow. But then he finally, because he's on missing, kind of reminded me of like Valentine with how the one girl dies in the hot tub. He keeps on trying to drill her, so he just throws her in the tub. He
yeah.
decides to saw her in half, and even though they don't show the blood, they show the saw going through. You can hear the sound effects, you can hear the screaming, and they push that through PG-13 rating very nicely with that scene.
Yeah.
So,
Kinda like Valentine.
I kind of like that scene with what's her name who plays
Denise Richards.
yeah, Denise Richards in the hot tub. It kind of reminded me of that scene. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But pretty good movie. Not the best, not the worst, but it's okay. So decide for yourself what to do.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching our review. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Just, yeah, this is tarot.
Just thanks for watching. Like and follow for more, and stay spooky. And we will see you in our next video.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.